Into a monster. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Alhamdulillah to the second, well, really the third, but second official series of Hadiths for the Hood, where inshallah we are taking the sunnah and putting a focus on the black community, the issues in the black community. Please support the Black Muslim media. Like, share, subscribe, drop us a comment, get the discussions going. That's what these talks are about, so we can get these discussions going and we can have, my kufi is always crooked. That drives me nuts. And that way we can get these kind of conversations going, then and the powers to be, inshallah ta'ala, will come together and we can fix these communities, fix our community. We don't have to, what do you call it? We don't have to talk about what the problems are in the black community. We know what the problems are in the black community. This is all this is pretty much obvious. So we don't have to discuss that in the least bit. We are going to discuss it though. Excuse me, I'm trying to get all this get all my media together. I need a media person. Well, my wife is learning to be the media person, so inshallah. So yeah, like, share, subscribe. These are important. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the Black Sunnah. These are very, very, very important and relevant issues and topics that we are trying to put an initiative towards. Inshallah, we will be successful. Make dua for us. Everybody get ready for Ramadan. Ramadan is close. We are not far. I mean, maybe like I think 13 days to Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. May everybody make it to Ramadan to add more good deeds to their account. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our fast and give us the tawfiq to have a good fast. What is that? How did they do that? Hold on one second. Let me turn this toy off. My bad. Shaitan is working. The devil is a liar. Deceiver. This kid, our baby toy, just start going crazy, distracting me. Okay, inshallah. So, identity in the black community. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Big problem in the black community is that we do not have an identity. And a lot of people will argue this. They will argue that we by default, we have an identity. But it's not the right identity. It's obviously not the right identity. And for a lot of different reasons. And that's what I'm going to try and tackle, inshallah, in this video series. The first video, I shared my personal experience with my identity crisis, not knowing who I was, how I fell into the streets, how I fell into gangs, how I fell into a life of crime, which ultimately ruined me. And this is what, and I'm still fighting right now to fix my life from the ruin that came to it before, from my identity crisis. There are political reasons why we don't have an identity. I stated in the first part of this series that we don't have identity due to slavery and due to slavery. And these are the pangs of slavery. They stole our identities, our historical oppressors stole our identities. Assalamu alaikum alaikum. They stole our identity, and we have not established as a whole. We have not, reestablished our identity, which we're Muslims, and that's what we covered in the first video. First video, we discussed an ayah when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. If I can find the ayah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wajahidu fillahi haqqa jihadihi. And strive and struggle for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the most sincere manner. I spent a little bit of time talking about that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Huwa jatabakum wa ma ja'ala alaykum fit dini min haraj. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not put inside of this deen any hardship. And I spent a little bit of time talking about that. Just a little bit of time. We could talk about that and these things. We could talk about a lot. But check out the first video, inshallah. I did it last Saturday. I'm gonna try to do this every Saturday, inshallah, about this time, so that we can have this type of reminder. And as a reminder, support Black Muslim media. Like, share. If you subscribe, if you're watching YouTube, let's get the word out, inshallah ta'ala. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Millata abikum Ibrahim. That this is the millah, this is the way, this is the lifestyle. I want to use that word. This is a good contextual translation to our situation. This is the lifestyle. They have a nice song that Young Thug made. My lifestyle. I forget how it goes. I don't think anybody know how that song goes. My lifestyle. That's it. That's all everybody knows. So, that's a word. It's a word that we use and we know that we recognize. The millah, the lifestyle of Ibrahim. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us all of the type of comfort. Yeah, right. Malika got it. She got us together. Boom, there it is. Them the lyrics right there. Alhamdulillah. So we Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He's taking care of us. We can trust the Quran. He's given us all the reassurance that we possibly need. That now He gonna hit us with the bomb, and we're gonna pick up from the bomb. I didn't get to the bomb in the first part of the video. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is assuring us that we are on the way, the lifestyle of Ibrahim. I mentioned in the first video that every major religion, all of the monotheistic religions claim Ibrahim al-Khalil, Abraham. Everybody claims him, but we are the only ones that are on his lifestyle. And that's a whole different video for a whole nother day. And finally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Huwa sammakumul muslimin, that He is the one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who named us Muslims. So this verse, I spent a little time talking about the reason my transformation from a life of crime, gangbanging, womanizing, every type of every type of criminal activity you could think of. That was all due to a lack of identity, which is a problem, huge problem in Black America. And when Black Muslim America, because now we think we're Wahhabis now, so that's a different problem. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He named us Muslims, so He gave us our identity. This does not take away from our genealogical identity, and even that Black Americans do not have. We can take the little tests and stuff online, but we really don't know. We can say, hey, your DNA matches this part of Africa, and all that stuff. But in the essence of that, we don't have an identity. You could say, "Oh, I'm with the Bantu tribe from Central Africa or whatever." The Bantu tribe don't know who you are, where you came from, who your mama is, and you don't know who they are, who their mama is. None of that. We have been completely broken and snatched and shattered as far as identity goes. We must understand this. Why must we understand this? Is because when you do not have an identity, this is the easiest playground for shaitan. Shaitan could come and do what we call in Islam the waswasa. He could come and whisper to us and suggest things to us because we don't live or stand for anything. We're blank right now. And please forgive me if I'm offending anybody by saying that, but I am absolutely irate about the state and condition of Black people in 2022. We should not be in the state that we are in right now. We should not be. As technologically advanced as the world and this society in particular has become, there's no way, shape, form, or fashion we should be living in a barbaric state that we do. When we're living in a state where, in a condition where we don't have the normal normal value for human life. It's literally barbaric. And this is because we don't know who we are and what we are. So I want to convey to us, to our people, that we are Muslims. We are Muslims. We have to start there. And the importance of identity is important, okay? It is important. It's an important social science. It's not a thing that we could brush off to the side and be willy-nilly about it, as we have been doing since we think we've been free from Jim Crow. This is not something that we should overlook. Think about how important identity is. Look at the young folks. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Look at the young folks. Uh, when I was young, in my generation, the identity thing for young Black men, a lot of young Black men, and please, the Black blue bourgeoisie, don't jump on here. I'm not talking to y'all yet. I hate when people say, "Oh, I was not a gangbanger. I wasn't a criminal. I went to Harvard." Yeah, you went to Harvard. We ain't go to no Harvard. Most Black folks came out the inner city and went to public school. Maybe we went to college, and at best, after that, we got a job, and we struggling. We struggling, even though we did everything that our historical oppressors told us we were and are supposed to do. We are still drowning. And I've done a few videos and brought the mathematics to us drowning. I don't care how many rap videos you've seen with rappers owning lions and got some type of futuristic vehicle that they driving as a boat, and helicopters and planes and stacks of money. That is not the condition of Black people. That's all a show anyway, which is a different topic for a different day. But look how important identity is. When I was young, it was being pushed on us to be gang members and dope sellers. Bloods, the Crips, the GDs, Vice Lords, and I don't really know too many other gangs. Amir Khalil was telling us about some of their gangs. We had a gang here in Cincinnati. They used to call them the Hucklebuck. Them dudes is crazy, man. They used to run around, just beat up everybody. They used to just whoop everybody. They used to call them the Hucklebuck. But it was gangs, that was some type of identity that was some type of identity we donned to try to give ourselves some type of meaning. Look at today, all the young folks. Look at the rappers like Gucci Mane, 1017 Gang. This is his little label, and his little brand or whatever. I can't say little; it's pretty big. And they have a brand of rappers that are actually criminals. They like these are not rappers. These are dudes that are really dangerous in real life. And his two top stars are locked up because of this identity crisis, because they think that they're 1017 gang. As the two big rappers that's locked up, Fujiano and what's his name, Pooh Shiesty. I like them. The boys got talent. That's wasted talent, but they definitely have talent. Pooh Shiesty come out of Memphis, and they got a gang in Memphis and South Memphis. It's called the Chopper Gang. They the gang with all the choppers, the big AK-47s. That's their identity. And a lot of people identify with that, so it's popular and it's a movement. Fujiano, he's from South Georgia, and what was his name of his gang? I forget. I forget the name of his gang. The Mob. That's what they call this. They call themselves the Mob, and this is their established identity, and our young folks are being swept up in it. Um, let's look at the black bourgeoisie. We call ourselves Democrats. I don't know why we call ourselves Democrats. We should be calling ourselves Dixiecrats. They never change. Or we should call ourselves the Black KKK. They're the ones that started the KKK, the Democrats. So I don't know why we call ourselves Democrats. I mean, everybody joins groups and stuff and give themselves some type of identity for their own benefit. So everybody, all black folks that's run around here calling themselves Democrats, are just trying to get some type of personal gain. No offense to, please don't let that offend, like Jay-Z said, please don't let that offend any of my political connects. y'all want me to respect y'all, man, so you got to respect mine too. But okay, so we got black Republicans, we got black Democrats, we have the what's the sorority people, the Qs, the A's, and or the Qs and the whatever the other one. What's the girls called? The AKAs? Yeah, the AKAs, the Qs. Identity. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. That this is a real thing. Identity is a real social science. It's a real psychological science. I think I'm getting corrected. Delta. Okay. Yeah, Delta. Delta, AKA the Qs. I don't know the rest of them. So identity is this is a true thing. So let our reality be the evidence. Why is an identity important? An identity is important because it establishes who and what you are and what you stand for. That's what an identity is. Just like when you go to the grocery store, and I hate to liken black people to meat at the grocery store. So, but I'm gonna use this as an easy example. When you go to a grocery store and you're looking for some 100% ground beef, you want that package, that label, to identify that package. That label is telling you what this package contains. So when you bust that package open, you expect to get your ground beef. You don't expect to get ground chicken, ground lamb, or hot dogs. Labels, identities, same type of science with individuals. Your name is an identity. One of our great Mujaddid scholars, Imam Ghazali. A lot of people don't know that's not actually his name. That was just it's a title that they associated him to. If I'm not mistaken, uh, um, uh, his family was known for making clothes, and I think the word for it was like ghazal or something. And his father used to make clothes, so they were known as the clothes makers, and that's why they end up calling Imam Ghazali Imam Ghazali. So he had an identity. He had something. If he had not become the great Muslim scholar that he did, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put light in his grave and allow us to get whatever type of benefit that we need from him as a beacon. Um, 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 if he had not become the big scholar, then he at least had his family trade and his family tribe name that he goes and it will be groomed by. A bad example, Trump. Look at Trump. We don't even call that man Donald. We definitely don't call him President Donald Trump. We call that man Trump. Trump, his name is a brand. It's a brand. So when you hear Trump, you automatically think real estate. McDonald's, look at these names, look at these labels, these things that identify stuff. McDonald was a person, and he named his business after himself and his family. Now, if somebody say, "Hi, my name is Josh McDonald," you like, whoa. I have I service the largest pizza chain in Southern Ohio. I service one of the heirs to the business, and as soon as I heard the name, I was like this can't be. I started getting nervous during the bidding process. I started getting nervous, like this can't be. I'm doing the math, like hold up, they are this old and then this person is young, and I'm putting it together. But when I heard the name, boom, automatically my light bulb went off. I started to identify who and what I was dealing with. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already obviously overstands this social and psychological science of names. Hence, he put this in the Holy Quran that he is the one who was some kumul muslimin. He is the one who named us Muslims. So, with that being said, Black people, we should identify ourselves as Muslim. You can have whatever name, genealogical name that you want. You can have that, but your label as a person should be Muslim. My name, Abdul Kabir Muhammad, those words mean something. Abdul Kabir, I'm the slave of the most powerful. I love that concept. That's why I chose that name when I woke up and became a Muslim. Kabir, Al Kabir, that attribute, the absolute most powerful. That to me, that told me when I was choosing my little Muslim name or whatever, that told me it stood out to me because Allah, nothing is more powerful than Allah. And me coming from gangs and streets, I dealt in power a lot instead of the power structures a lot. So I understand power, and when you quote unquote have power, your subjects don't have no choice but to abide. I had some power in the streets, and I thought I had some power in the streets, and my subjects didn't have a choice but to abide, or they had to deal with me. So that name Kabir, Al Kabir, the most powerful, that stood out to me, alhamdulillah. And I realized that I didn't have any power whatsoever, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had all the power because going to prison wasn't part of my plan. That was somebody else's plan, not mine. So it immediately stood out to me. It was like, hold up, something else is going on. So I chose that name, alhamdulillah. Even Muhammad, the one who was most praised. I'm not the one that's most praised, but I want to represent to myself and my people, anybody who's around me, that that I represent the one who is most praised, which is Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the power in the psychology of names or identities. And of course, y'all know I got Al-Maliki, Al-Ash'ari on my name because I'm Maliki and I'm Ash'ari. We ain't gonna get into that right now, but those are also labels of identity that represent something. So at this leg of understanding, we must when you have an identity, when you have a label, you got something that you have to live up to. You have to represent this what you are identified by. Example, when I was in the streets, they used to call me Red. It was a whole bunch of different Reds, but I was West Side Red. They used to call me Red because the gang that I was in, I was a Piru. That was the color was red, and I just always wore red because of the once again identifying myself. Now anybody who know me, they will tell you I walk around in all red all day, every day. Like some of some I laugh sometimes with some of my little cousins. They friends when they first met me uh they was like, is this dude from Cali or something? They thought I was actually from California. But no, I was just like, emulating what I thought was authentic. So I wore all red. So when I started to sell drugs, um when you selling drugs, especially like when you're outside and you're a corner boy, you got to give a nickname. So if the police get on you, the police don't have a name that they can go in their database and type up and look up. And now it used to be like that back in the day. Now they got your nickname in the database. You ain't no getting around none of that. So they all of the people who used to buy drugs from me, they just started like they used to flag me down. They used since I always had on red, they used to be, hey, red, 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 red. And I didn't never tell nobody that was my name. They just used to say that, like, dude in the red, 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 red. And then when me and my peoples was having conversations, we don't say each other's name like in front of the people that's buying drugs from us, because then they can go and tell the police our name. So we used to just, we used to say our nicknames and stuff. And I didn't really like have an established nickname. I did, but it was, didn't have nothing to do with the streets. But uh, so my peoples started to call me Red because they seen all of the people who was buying drugs was calling me Red. And then that's what I was known by. So I just started to tell people from that point on, my name is Red. Uh, that was an identity thing. I was identifying myself. Same exact concept. And I lived up to what I was identifying. I was that. I became that. So I wanted everybody to know, hey, I'm blood. I wanted the whole world to know. I had bandanas and everything all over me. I had red clothes, red bandanas all over me. I wanted everybody to know this is what I am. Same exact concept. Now I have a beard. This is my identity. Prophet Muhammad SAW said to leave trim the mustache and grow the beard. This is something uniquely Muslim. It's uniquely Muslim, so much so that brothers in the blackest Muslim city in America, Philadelphia, them dudes just naturally rock beards because there are so many black Muslims in Philly, so many that it just became the culture. Alhamdulillah, that's one of the most beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful things that I have honestly never seen. Ever seen. Excuse me. As listen, I got a quick story about this identity thing and the beard. I was locked up with a cat. Um, he from Philly, from North Philly. So my guy, we call his name Lim. We get like in Cincinnati, we get everybody a nickname. His last name is Lemon, but we thought it was kind of weird to be walking around calling another grown man Lemon. So we started calling him Lim, short for lemon. So we started calling him Lim. That's my guy, it's my guy. Wallah, he worked in a barber shop. Hey, Luke, Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, Luke? Tell him about Lim, man. Tell him about Lim. But Lim, when we used to go to the barbershop, like all the Muslims ran the barbershop at the prison where I was at. And he worked, like he just hung with a lot of the older Muslim brothers, right? Of course, all of them big Sunnahs, And so, he grew his beard. And he from Philly. So, this was something that he was new. He wasn't new to it. He was accustomed to it. He used to cut my hair. And I used to salam him all the time. I used to be like, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam. But just from culture, because he come from Philly, he know. And Philly, salam alaikum is like, what's happening down here? Down here, we say, what's happening? What's popping? What's going on? That's in Philly. That's like, that's salam alaikum is like saying what's happening. So, that went on for quite a long time. And one day he used to work out all the time. One day he called me and like I salamed him. He used to hang with all the brothers because this is what he identified with. He was down in Ohio hustling and caught a case and got locked up or whatever. So he working out with the brothers or whatever. Boom. You know what I'm saying? I dap him up. I salam everybody. He was like, hey, he know the lingo and everything. He like, hey, like, I ain't Muslim. I was like, what? The whole like he hang with all the Muslims. He work out with us. He worked with the brothers that's Muslim. He got a big sunnah, and it just went from there. I was like, man, bro, this whole time, and then that's when I really started to learn about Philly and how many black Muslims that Philly has. Alhamdulillah. But the brother ended up becoming Muslim. End up becoming Muslim, man. Lim. Alhamdulillah. May Allah Ta'ala give him his freedom back, man. He's innocent, man. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Y'all make dua for the brother Lim, man, from Philly, from North Philly. Don't you say he from nowhere else, from North Philly. He'll really get mad if you say he from somewhere else. But that's that identity, man. That identity, that played on him. He seen that when he was growing up as a kid. All the big ox, the big homies, they all had beards. They all established some type of identity. They all wore kufis. They wear jalabias. This is all representative and reflective of your identity. And that man became Muslim because of that. A soul was saved because of people being in tune with their identity. Now, why is that significant? Because when you open up that package, like I said, when you look at some ground beef and you open up that package, it better be ground beef in that package. Whenever he dealt with the Muslim brothers in Philly, when he opened they package up, salam alaikum, salam, now I ain't probably gonna say all, but what he can recollect was good. That when you say I'm Muslim and people open up your package of you being Muslim, what do they get from you? They get good. They get nothing but good. Now we got some goofy koofies running around here for sure, but that ain't the majority. It's not the majority at all. So to cure our identity crisis, that's the first thing that we must come. That's the first thing that we must come to terms with. Excuse me. Is that our identity is Islam, is Muslim, and it is Islam. That alone will completely wash out all of the stuff that's going on in our community. Guaranteed. Not votes for the Democratic Party, that won't do it. Not saying, hey, the Democratic Party is not working, we need to switch to the Republican Party. That's not going to work. We already know the streets is not working. We don the identity of the streets, and it's destroying us. Everybody representing their street, they block, they hood, they side, they city, they state. We done broke off into all these factions, racial factions within the Black community, and that's not working. We said we're Christian. I knew one Black Jew my whole life. I used to argue that man to the blue face. So I ain't gonna throw Jews in. I know one Black Jew in all the almost 16 years I've been Muslim. But so we ain't got to talk about that. But Christian, that's not working. Please, my Christian brothers and sisters, do not be offended. If you are offended at that statement, you part of the problem. Because y'all, my Christian brothers and sisters, this is my family first. Y'all had the ball and y'all dropped it. Y'all Christian black people have been swept up into Christianity in droves, and it ain't working. It hasn't worked. So you selfish if you want to continue to try to push that and you see that it's not working. I'm not worried about it working individually. It can work individually. It can work, but that's not the problem at hand. Individuals are being ruined by the community. I grew up in the church. My mom wasn't like, she wasn't ratchet or none of that. Like she get there with you, like she ain't no sucker at all. But she didn't smoke. I never seen my mama smoke, drink, have guys running in and out of the house. She never did any type of hard drugs, nothing. I still to this day, right now. But she pushed me into Sunday school and church and all that. And I learned I learned the Sunday school and the church, and I learned that stuff. And funny story. Uh, I was with some guys who would become my fellow gang members one time, and I was on my church thing real hard. I was getting in trouble, and my family's like, "You need to get to this church, and you need to do this, you need to do that." I was like, "All right, well, let me give it a try," because me being in the streets ain't working. I was about 14, 15. And I put on dress clothes every day, and they was first and foremost, they was tearing me up. The community, the society was tearing me to pieces. They was like, "Oh, they walk around here, Jesus sandals." Oh, they was capping, tearing. So then I got capped on. I got ostracized. It was bad. It was real bad. Then I had an argument, man, with my guy Duke, man. Man, I lost him on the rest his soul, and alhamdulillah. I don't know for sure. He died. He was murdered when I was in prison, and I was told that he became Muslim by some brother that I was locked up with. Uh, yeah, I was told that he took shahada. So inshallah, that was true. Now this is a guy I come from the slab with. Uh, we was in the same set the whole nine. Me and him arguing. We used to always go at it. We the same age, and me and him used to always be the ones fighting. And so he wanted to be known. I had more knockouts than he did. So I guess his way of proving that he was going to be the toughest young boy in the set was to get at me. So he used to always mess with me, man. But we ended up arguing when I tried to, get my life together, leave the gang alone, and all that. And he was like, "Man, that stuff ain't gonna do nothing for you, and that stuff fake, and this, that, and the third." And I was like, I'm arguing with him because y'all know I like to argue. I'm arguing with him, telling him all the stuff I learned at the Bible. And he was like, "So you telling me you really believe in turning your other cheek?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Do it." I turned my cheek. He slapped fire out of me. I was like, "Yeah, Christianity ain't gonna work for me." I said, "Christianity ain't gonna work for me, man. I'm not the turn the other cheek type, man." But my point more to that story is that we learned that inside of the home, and then we go out into a community or a society that's not structured or built on that. So you get challenged, just like I got challenged in that way. And there's other ways I'm sure that y'all know that you are challenged. So the as a community, we got as a people, we have to understand that community shapes who and what we are. Somehow, some way, you are going to be affected by your surroundings. Now, what's important to understand about that? What is the identity of our surroundings right now? What's the identity? Gangbangers, drug dealers, Christians, and Democrats. All that ain't working. None of it ain't working. It's actually getting worse. Shaitan is having a field day with us identifying ourselves with these things. Oh, let me throw in there the black bourgeoisie. Let's throw that in there as the fifth type of identity that we have in the black community. And Shaitan is having his way. Now, billah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the guiles of Shaitan. So if individuals were Muslim and that made the society and the community Muslim, we got a different equation. We have a whole different equation. We have a different situation. We have a situation where, for example, in our present situation, we have individuals who will sell drugs to each other, neighbors, in our communities, in Black communities. We got people, you'll sell drugs to what they call auntie and uncle. You sell drugs to them. And then another young man on that same street or in that same neighborhood or whatever, he'll be jealous that Tom Tom is making all this money serving these drugs to uncle and auntie, right? So Lil Ron Ron was like, man, I'm gonna stick Tom Tom. I'm about to take Tom Tom down. I gotta eat, right? So then Ron Ron tries to go and rob Tom Tom. In this Black Democratic gangbanger drug dealing bourgeoisie community, this is happening. These are the powers. These are people who are in power. This stuff is happening. When Ron Ron goes to rob Tom Tom, Tom Tom ain't giving it up because he ain't no sucker. So Ron Ron busting. Pow! He just want to get the point across. Hey, give it up or I'm gonna kill you. So when Tom Tom feel like he don't him, he give it up. But then Tom Tom bleed out. He die. So then Tom Tom, everybody go to Tom Tom's funeral. We put Tom Tom on the shirt, talk about how great of an individual he was, no matter the fact that he got killed in the midst of committing crimes. He got killed. And then they go to this funeral, and then Ron Ron and his people, they go and shoot up the funeral. This is what we got going on in our community right now. If they were Muslims, if Tom Tom was Talib and Ron Ron was Rahman, this is not the objective. The objective is a lot different. The objective with Rahman and Talib is Salam Alaikum, brother. Brother, Salam Alaikum. When Talib and Rahman go to the masjid, they hear the khatib or the imam or whoever's speaking, they hear him say that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught us that you as a Muslim, that your fellow Muslim brother or sister, their blood is not lawful. It's not lawful. You can't have none of it. Talib and Rahman, they Muslim. That's their identity. So they have to live up to that. And as opposed to being Tom Tom and Ron Ron and going to the OG and the OG giving them they lit, and then they live up to that, and then they commit the atrocities that we see on a daily basis in our communities, they listening to the imam or the good brother, the big homie, me, the big homie. Listen to the big homie and say, nah, that's your brother. You can't, his blood ain't lawful. Always said this and he did that. Well, we're taught to give our brothers and our sisters 999 excuses. Now we have a different scenario and a different situation. As opposed to Ron Ron and his gang shooting up Tom Tom and his people's funeral, this is the severity of what's going on, of us ignoring the importance of identity. Instead of them going to shoot the other one's funeral up, Rahman is at Talib's funeral praying for him, making dua for him, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I'm witness that Talib was a good brother, a good striving Muslim in the society. And please put light in Talib's grave and admit Talib into the highest paradise. Being Muslim will completely change our situation. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. This is what the occasions will be. This is the difference. This is the contrast. This is what we're offering. They don't have those kinds of teachers and all those other lifestyles and the black bourgeoisie the black Democrats, the black Republicans, the drug dealers, and the gangbangers. Those are the 5 political parties that are governing black life in America. We don't have an Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah party. Inshallah, I'm trying to put one together. We don't have that yet set up to where we got some say-so on any of this. Hence, this is why we need hadiths for the hood. That's what this series is about. To explain to us, to explain to our people the benefits that we can get. And we ain't doing the gospel prosperity stuff. We're talking about individual effort here. And I'm telling you, because you are looking at living proof. I used to be a treacherous individual. And all the time, my heart quivers because I'm like, man, all these young guys dying and catching so much time in prison, man. Life is just wasted. Alhamdulillah, I was doing everything that they was doing, and Allah Ta'ala had mercy on me. I don't have a choice but to get out here and fight for the cause. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved me from it. I don't have a choice but to fight for it. Be an advocate for it. Neither do we. We all have a cousin, a baby daddy, a brother that didn't experience what I experienced and worse. So we all can relate. We have to bind together and establish ourselves as Muslims. These are the benefits. We could be independent from our historical oppressors if we establish ourselves as Muslims. But we got to work for it. It ain't going to come easy. It's not going to come from what we've been doing. We basically just been going to church. We say, okay, new brother just took Shahada, a new sister just took Shahada, everybody takbir, Allahu Akbar, and then we send that person back to the jungle. A young brother that I know this young brother from the projects. I know this young brother who I'm getting ready to tell y'all about. I know him from being in the projects with my older guy, my older homie, who is now Muslim, alhamdulillah. We in the projects, giving dawah, talking to these young guys. I stopped him and his dudes from killing a dude right in the middle of the street. Right in the middle of the street. I'm talking about it got so bad, they got to arguing and fighting. I don't know who slapped or punched who, but somebody did. I think the older guy or whatever slapped or punched the young dude. He went back, got all his young guys, and we sitting back and we in the lot. We like, man, what's going on? They done ran behind the building, went grabbed their straps, and the young boy come out with a gun bigger than him. And that particular young boy, it was about 4 or 5 of them, and I stopped them and I talked to him. That particular number, the one that had the gun that was getting ready to go lay dude down before we stopped him, he ended up catching life in prison. Wallah, he caught 30-something life. He killed somebody else. He didn't kill that guy that day, but he ended up killing somebody else. But one of those dudes out they crew, and they the opposite gang too. Me and my guys, we known as Bloods in the city. They the opposite gang. They was Crips. But we told them, like, just from, just relate. Them our young brothers, we like, oh, y'all don't want to do that. Chill. Y'all do not want to do that. This ain't the way to handle that kind of situation. When we talked to them, wallahi, they sat down in a trap house and listened to us talk to them. And two of them became Muslim, as a matter of fact. One of them, he's still out there. It's my little dude. He's still out there, but he's trying. He's doing his best. But the other one just got locked up. And I put him on my Facebook when he took Shahada. He did it publicly and in front of everybody. And he is in the projects talking to people about Islam. But he hasn't been saved from his surroundings, his community. He hasn't been saved from it. We can talk and preach all day if we want to. It ain't going to do no good. We have to build a community that is identified as Muslim, where we run the show. Well, we have a say where the tax dollars is going. This is what we have to do, or we can continue to see there. Life doesn't exist right now for us. It doesn't exist. Sitting back, kicking it with the family and barbecuing and having fun, that is gone. Shaitan has waged war on our community, and he's making well at it. We're not even fighting back. We give a brother shahada, we used to give a sister shahada, Allahu Akbar, and then send them, send them back to the war zone. We're not capitalizing. We're not taking this past lip service. We can only do so much as individuals. We have to establish our identity. We have to build. We got to build. It's the only way. It's the only way. And this is, and it's so important to establish the Muslim identity. It's so important to establish that you have to worry about your own young kids being sucked into these streets. You have to worry about that. My oldest daughter, I gave her Islam when I came home. That sucked into the streets. Anything that I ever told her, she never denied it. She confirms it. She's, as far as I know, she's still Muslim. But life is so hard for us. We almost can't capitalize on when we give people hidayah and we have that label. They have that label. We haven't capitalized on it. What I mean when I say we haven't capitalized on it, us individually, like I said, we're Muslim. We're Muslim. Now we must spread Islam. We are in the situation, a part of history where Islam has to be spread in order for us to survive. It has to be established, and that establishment must be spread. Establish our Muslim identity, establish our community, and we have to save our people, bring our people into the Muslim community in order for us to be saved. We have to. No spooky stuff. I'm speaking tangibles, excuse me, that's not a word. I'm speaking tangibles. When you look at the Quran, when you look at the Sunnah, and it asks you to do something, like that, those first words Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, wajahadu, and fight and struggle, fight for your Islam to be strong, fight for your Islam to be strong. For the sake of Allah, fight for your Islam to be strong. Right now, it's my favorite ayah in the Quran. Tu'minu billahi wa rasulihi wa tujahiduna fi sabilillah. Believe in Allah, believe in the messenger, and fight and strive for Allah's sake. I don't mean go overseas and start blowing stuff up. FBI, you tried it. That ain't what that means. What that means is that we take all of our energy, all of our resources, and we fight to grab all of our energy and resources and we put it into our everyday practice. When your nafs is getting at you, you fight it. You fight your nafs. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing you, you fight the test. You fight. You're struggling. We're not fighting right now. We're complacent. You're like, okay, alhamdulillah, I'm Muslim. I'll watch a couple videos on YouTube. And then meanwhile, our youths are shooting up funerals. And for some reason, we believe in next week's Hadith for the Hood is going to be about the black bourgeoisie. For some reason, we believe, since we have not taken Allah and His messenger as our guide and as our leaders, and we haven't taken the Quran as our manual and our playbook, we came up with the great idea. Black folks came up with the great idea. It was like, well, I'll just move out of the hood and I'll work really hard. I'll make a lot of money and then I'll just move to a predominantly white neighborhood where they're not shooting and killing each other. Like just you and your own family. That's just like the situation in Ukraine. There's a war going on in Ukraine. Everybody's grabbing their family members and whatever possessions that they have, and they leave Ukraine, and they left. And all of their family and friends, they back to, hey, if you get killed, you dead. Hey, man, that's on you, player. I got out. We live in France now. So now you don't have no family, no friends, no community, none of that. And you went to Belgium or France or some neighboring place. Now you got to completely recreate yourself and make a whole new identity. You are no longer who you were and when you got out there in the suburbs or one of those subdivisions. You are no longer who you are. Now you got to make those friends. Now you got to, and I'm going to tell you right now, they don't want you. They don't want you at all. So that ain't the solution. Next week, that's what we're going to talk about. Black flight. We had white flight. Now we got black flight. If you get you and your out of there, but your family, your tribe, your community, they dying. They dying. Literally. Spiritually and literally. They're dying because they're not spiritually awake. So the identity is that important. The answer to all of this is not, like I said, for us to flee and leave. That's not the answer. To fix this thing because we are who we are. No, we don't know what tribe we come from in Africa. All our last names came from European slave owners. That meant our last names literally meant that was the white slave owner family that owned us. You were their property. That's why you had their name. Yeah, that's the case. Yeah, okay, that's what it is. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? And the answer is to Islam. Everything else in history has never worked. It has never worked. At this stage, in the progression of history and the technology and all of that we have, Black people still have a net wealth difference to white people of 10 times. So for every 100,000 that a white person, a white family is worth, a Black family is worth only $10,000. We are not winning. This is on average. We are not winning. I don't care what the rap songs and whatever those self-medicative things that we do, what they say, we're not winning. We're not winning in the least bit. We're losing. And all of that is connected to the stuff, the atrocities that I mentioned in this video. All the atrocities that we see on a daily basis. We've lost our women. Our women don't have an identity. SubhanAllah. We can't even get started talking about the women. There's literally genocide going on right now because we don't have an identity, especially our women. Now we got so much free pornography on Facebook, Instagram. Forget the .coms. Forget it. All a girl got to do is post a provocative picture on Facebook, and here come every dope boy in the city. What's up? What's up? How you doing? What's up? How you doing? We lost no identity, no purpose. There's an ayah in the Quran when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the kuffar, they like camels. I mean, not camels, cows. They like cows. They like cows. The kuffar, the non-Muslims, they like cows. Just going from one place to another, eating and using the bathroom. You just like an animal if that's your purpose. Cohabitate, eat, and use the bathroom. That is an animal. That's not a human. And kill whenever you get the opportunity. That's an animal. That is not a human. We low like that because we don't have an identity. My sheikh rahimahumullah, he said when we were asking him about all the differences, because we come from our culture, you know what our women do, and when I started to learning about the sanctity of the Muslim women, I had to ask him about it because this was night and day. You know, our women take their clothes off, Muslim women put their clothes on. So I was lost. So I had to ask him, I was asking him about it, and he told me in the simplest words. He said, your women belong to your family. They don't belong to the community. They belong to your family. There was so much wisdom in that statement. SubhanAllah, I'm still opening up knowledge from just that statement alone. Because we don't have an identity. Once our women become Muslim, what do? They start searching for husbands. They start wanting a family. Why is that significant? Because we've and undervalued having a husband and having a community. Having a family. I just told the answer. We've devalued having a husband and having the women. They've devalued having a husband and having a family. Without the family, there is no community. Now we got all the to each his own people out there, all these libertine, social media influencers who say, "Oh, I ain't got nothing to do with what you got going on. What you eat doesn't make me go to the bathroom." We got these individualistic, minded people, selfish people that's only worried about themselves. That is of no help and use to your environment. Something as simple as why community is important is schools. When you live in a certain school district, certain things are going to be taught in the school, certain however many days the kids are going to go to school, when the school is going to end, the teachers that are hired, the standard, the criteria. This is where you send in your kids. If you're individualistic in your thinking and you don't care and you don't get involved in that process, you sending your kids to be indoctrinated with Allah knows what. And this is what we have going on in our community. In the Black community, number one, and in the Muslim community, number two. We're sending our kids to go be educated by people that worship cows and worship Donald Trump and worship Barack Obama. And they're going to teach those doctrines in those schools. This is one example why community is important. When you go and work, you pay taxes to a certain locale. And then you have elected officials by the community. You have elected officials who decide where that money is going to go. What's the problem with that? We don't, the tax dollars that Black people are paying and whatever locales that they live in aren't going to their school systems, number one. And number two, it isn't going to any type of housing initiative to fix the poverty in our community, which is a street towards all of the crime. Once again, this all goes back to identity. Who are you? What are you? It all goes back to that. So, alhamdulillah, inshallah, that was clear. Please share this, y'all, so that I don't care about the views. Wallahi, I don't care about the views. I care about the views because I want people to get a better understanding of what we should be doing with our lives. I don't get any money from any of this stuff. I don't want any money. I make my own money. I'm interested in making my own money and doing this fi sabilillah because that keeps me sincere. Actually, was just offered some to help somewhere significant here in Cincinnati, and the first thing I said is I'm not taking a salary if I help. I'm not taking a salary. So I don't do this for money. I do this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't want the views. I want the views, excuse me. I don't want the views for the sake of money. I don't want sponsors I don't want nobody sponsor me. None of that. The only people who I want to sponsor is the shuyukh. That's it. The rightly guided shuyukh. That's it. So share this, and so that we can get this mentality out there that we must, stuff like identity. We can have our children identify as Muslims. We can identify as Muslims ourselves, and then we can bind together and have a communities built all across America within the communities that we live, and change them from the inside out to save ourselves. To save ourselves, inshallah ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله ولا إله إلا الله. A few comments on here. Franklin Saint, what's up, Aki? Assalamu alaikum. My West Side homie right there. Bishop, what's going on, baby? Assalamu alaikum. Sorry I ain't been able to see y'all, man. You know, the pandemic, it changed everything, man. The pandemic changed everything, Bishop. One of the best hood basketball players you'll ever meet in your life. Okay. Sister Rabia, she's lighting it up. She holding it down in the comment section. Rabia and Malika, alhamdulillah. I'm telling y'all, man, the movement will spread through our women, man. I'm telling you. I've been saying that from day one. She laughed, said goofy koofy. Yeah, that's one of the 18 jokes, man. When guys get to acting silly out here, man, we like, man, there's some goofy koofies, goofy sufis, man. It's hard out, Rabia said, it's hard out here for striving Muslims. Toraji, Hustle, and Flow Voice. Rabia also said, subhanAllah, sounds like the man who killed 90. Oh yeah. See, right here. There, yes, yeah, right here. Yes. This hadith is the foundation to most of everything that I'm doing right here. This hadith, she said, the hadith of the man that killed 99 and one. She said one thing to want to change, and another when you still live in a toxic waste that's making it easy to stay stuck. So that is the evidence. I was going to drop that hadith and a talk on that sooner or later, but we got to get to an understanding about, well, this is Hijra, because I'm working on a Hijra project right now. Inshallah, we're going to jump it off. You know, me and my family just jumping the Hijra project off first. And we're going to work on establishing an African-American Sunni Muslim community. We don't have one. We have never had one. We have a few masajid around the country, very few, but a community with a masjid, you know, where we are predominant or we have a significant presence and we can start to control the show. That is my brainchild, inshallah. But the evidence for this, like we saying, to clean up the environment, there's a hadith where a man had killed 99 people, and he went to the local sheikh, one of the local shuyukh, and he asked him if, he said, hey, I killed 99 people. Is there hope for me? And that sheikh said no. He was one of them. He was one of them. He was a Wahhabi. He stuck strictly to the text, with no hikmah whatsoever. Just give you the hadith. Oh, Allah said, if you kill somebody, you gotta kill him. Just go. No hikmah, no type of hikmah whatsoever. Forget the hadith about the woman that committed fornication, and she came and told the Prophet. The Prophet turned his head 3 times. And then she left, and then some time passed, then she came back again. And the only reason why he allowed her to be stoned to death is because she said that she didn't want to go and see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with that sin on her. It's the only reason. Forget those type of hadiths. The hadiths, we must kill them. We must kill all of the kuffar. It's like the Wahhabis. So this sheikh, he was a Wahhabi. I'm adding those words. That's not part of the hadith. I'm just joking at the Wahhabis and the Salafis. Because they're so literal with everything. And when you're so literal with stuff, you lose the hikmah. There's no hikmah when you take every single thing literally. So after he asked that sheikh, he killed that sheikh. And then some time went by, and he kept having the urge, and it was hard for him. He tried to make Toba again. He went to another sheikh. Another sheikh said, "Yeah, you could be forgiven. There's hope for you." He said, "But by one condition, you gotta leave. This environment is not good for you." I'm paraphrasing. He told him the environment was not good for him, and that environment was going to continue to bring that badness out of him. And he ordered him to make hijrah. And that brother made hijrah. And when he was almost to the place where the sheikh had told him to go make hijrah, he died. He died. This is the black people's lives. As soon as we start getting everything together, we die. It always happened like that. This hadith is for black people right now. uh, so when the angels came to collect his body, they didn't know if he was a Kafir or if he was a Muslim, because they didn't know if his Toba had been accepted. So they measured his body, and it was said that at the top of his chest, like the top of his body was like in the it had crossed the boundary of the place where that sheikh had told him to go, and the lower half of his body was like a lesser percentage of his body outside of the city. So his Toba was forgiven because he made Toba, he left and made hijrah, went to a better place, and he became a Muslim, and he was forgiven, and he went to Jannah. This is the hadith. This is the hadith that is evidence for community, and that the community should be good, and it should be Muslim, and it should support us. So good you picked that out, Rabia. And we're going to do a whole show, maybe a series on this. Rabia said, facts, and I got to fight Kufad to raise my children striving in the Sunnah because of divorce. Yes. Yes, that's a whole topic by itself. Definitely is. That's a whole topic by itself. Okay, so I think I reached my limit. I don't see any more comments. I love y'all for the sake of Allah. Please share this share this so that your people can become Muslim. Inshallah ta'ala, one word about this initiative can maybe bring them into Islam. And of course, you'll be giving sadaqah jariyah to the good brother, to the big brother, to the big homie. And you yourself, if you hit the share button and somebody is guided by what you did, then you get the credit for it until the day of judgment. If you die and this person becomes Muslim from something, I say I'm over here doing my Muslim talk. That's what my young homies. That's what my young heads. My young homies. That's what they be saying. They be like, yeah, when you be doing your Muslim talks, I be watching it, and I'll be watching it though. Sometimes I don't know what you be saying, but I'll be watching it. So if one of your friends become Muslim from one of these Muslim talks, you get the sadaqah jariyah for hitting that share button. You get to look at me and my gospel of prosperity. You get the sadaqah jariyah. Let's everybody get the sadaqah jariyah. Me and the brothers in the 18, we practice this. As soon as one of our brothers, we doing our dawah, we doing our tabligh, we doing our classes, our lectures, we jump on there, we show support, give a view, we send the hearts, we send the likes, hit the share button. Our timelines should be filled with videos and posts of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, especially the African American Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Okay? If you share and you like, you can inspire somebody. And that's what we need to do. We need to inspire our people to become Muslim. Maybe they'll hear this talk, and this will make the difference for them, and they'll become Muslim, inshallah ta'ala. I'm out of here. I love y'all for the sake of Allah. Tune in tomorrow. I forget the time. I'm gonna post it, but tomorrow we're going to bring Love Talks live back again. I don't know what the topic is. We don't know yet. We got a few topics. So when we talk about love, marriage, relationships, especially like in the Black community, this is a big This is big thing, big problems, big talk, and we need to get these things out on the table. So I love you all for the sake of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.